Hey you, I'm Ebony with We Are Ideas, and today I'm going to show you how to determine when an event really should be an email. So many of us have planned an event or showed up to an event because we want to support a cause or a person we love or a community member we really believe in. And we get there and we're looking around. Yeah, I could have been home. But a board member or a stakeholder or a community member says, we really got to get together right now. We're always very urgent as change agents, mobilizers, organizers, executive directors, presidents of B Corps. There's an urgency to us because everything is important. The world is crumbling, for goodness sake. Let's get these people together and mobilize. And sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's not. So stay tuned for exactly how I determine when I should pass on an event so I can save on budget, save on people's time and energy, not call on a partner for this thing because there may be something more important coming up. Stay tuned for how I do that so that you can do it too. Let's bring people together. Okay, so not going to hide the lead here. There are 5 components to my decision making when I realize an event could have been an email, should be an email, so that I'm not wasting time, money, and energy. Okay, so point number 1. Well, wait, before I start there, I want to tell a quick story. So there was an event that I was planning for a nonprofit organization, small, mighty, doing beautiful work in community, specifically around mental health. And there was this energy towards the event because they do work within the Black community, specifically people that are LGBTQIA+. And so I'm cisgender, straight, married to a man, all the things associated with sort of a, quote, traditional path. And so for me to come into a space of, in this case, men, Black men that are gay is a little presumptuous, I think. And so I think it's really important as the client of, as the person who's managing and running events and programs, that I am sensitive to experiences that are not of my own, especially when gathering together is how people are connected to one another. So there's a saying that goes, fish school, birds flock, and people tribe, and it's accurate. You can see that in our churches, synagogues, mosques. You can see that in our sororities and fraternities. You can see that how we gather together in the South versus how we gather together in the North, how we gather together in Hispanic communities versus Haitian communities. And while the commonality is tribing together, is communing together, I choose to be sensitive to the fact that people are connected for commonalities that I may not be included in. And so in this aspect, with this particular client, there were a lot of components to how they were planning their event before I came in that I knew the event was going to run into some major issues. And so I want to share the 5 criteria with you. This in no way suggests that people shouldn't have the events they want to have, but I think we have to be thoughtful about why not having an event and instead making it a Zoom call or on Google Hangout, whatever online platform you choose to use, or an email or text messaging campaign sometimes can drive home the same thought. And here's how I decide. There are 5. Number 1 is to look at your budget. A lot of people will save time, energy, and angst if they get over their fear about talking about money, in particular when it's coming from funders or your own pockets, which to me is arguably more important. In particular, when you're starting your own nonprofit or social impact company, you want to think about budget. You have a budget line items. You want to consider all of the costs that are associated with planning the type of event you're planning. So really get as close to the type of event you're planning when you're planning this budget. And I want to just pause here to say in the link below the video, you can click on it and access at least 3 to 5 budget templates at no cost to you that you can use in order to help you determine what your budget is for a myriad of different reasons, one of which is whether you should be having an event or not. And I won't even say should, because I don't want to shit on anybody. But whether it is a good idea based on your mission, your goals for your organization or company, whether it's a good idea for the event to happen now, this year, or ever. And so budget is the first item I always recommend to people. And with this client, they hadn't really outlined a clear budget, as I saw it, that would help them determine if they were going to put themselves into the poorhouse. Now, this is always really difficult for people who are very passionate, not just passionate. The fabric of who they are as they see it is entrenched in the work that they do. They are better people because they are doing work in their community. And who am I is often the question I have to ask myself to disrupt their dreams, their goals, their sense of purpose, their vocation, which is very different than just a job, just work. It's a vocation, the work we do. We feel deeply connected to it, and to take that away from people because they don't have the money, in particular for people that feel like capitalism is the root of all evil, it is difficult to then tell them that money is the reason they can't do X. But oftentimes it can help not only save you money, but it can be an indicator that there are other opportunities to plan further and deeper for what the bigger mission is. In another video, I talk about the importance of creating a run of show and a meeting design, because it helps also to tell you what is the purpose, not of your organization or business, but what is the purpose of this particular meeting or event, so that you can determine, is this the right time? Is this the right time now? Is this the right time ever? Okay, so in this case, I never saw a budget. And as a result of that, part of the event planning world is being able to know what money am I working with in order to make this happen. In another video, I'll talk about planning events on a very low or no cost budget, of which I have done hundreds of times, over 100 times, in the 15 plus years I've been planning events. And so it is possible, but sometimes it shouldn't be done. So budget is number one. The second criteria, number two, is creating that meeting design and run of show. As I mentioned in another video, I talked thoroughly about how to create a meeting design and run of show. And my second criteria for determining whether an event should be an email is looking at the run of show and meeting design. Excuse me, is this something that I'm able to do and I'm able to do right now? What is the purpose? What is the problem? What are the desired outcomes? What are the action steps I have for myself and the audience, so I know if we should move forward? I've also linked in the video below, not only the video that I mentioned this, but also an example of what a meeting design looks like. Feel free to download, put your questions in the comment section below, and I will get to most, if not all, of those questions and comments to be able to support you in your upcoming event, which is very important to me. Okay, number three is having a deep, real, come to Jesus moment kind of conversation with your boss and or board members if you have access to them, and with yourself or with your board members if you are the head of the organization or company. I share this because I think what happens is people get entrenched in tradition. We've been doing a walk for 20 years. We've been doing this gala for 15 years. We want to dress up and look pretty. Everybody expects us to do it. People like to tribe. Of course we want to come together. I get that. And I think you want to have a conversation with your boss that looks like this. And these are my three questions that go along with having the conversation with the powers that be, the people that are making the decisions. Number one, how much is it going to cost and is it worth it? So 1 and 1B. 2, what does it look like to put on this event but on a smaller scale? Number 3, and this is going to sound funny, but hear me here. Hear me. Could this be a telethon? Okay, listen, I know this is crazy, but I think a lot of people expect that an event, in particular for nonprofit organizations, will raise either money or awareness. And it can, and sometimes it does. And we talk about in other videos ways to do both that don't cost money. In this case, you want to really ask yourself, are there other ways based on the challenge statement and meeting purpose, as well as the desired outcomes from the run of show? Based on that information, is this event necessary right now, or are there other ways for us to be able to accomplish it? So the third way is talking to your boss about what the real reason is, what the deep reason is, and showing him, her, they, the type of questions and comments that help them to make the kind of decision that works for you, the staff, the community, that may be disappointing to some, but may save time, energy, money, resources ultimately for others. And so really important for you to drill home that point for yourself, get clear on that, and then communicating that to your boss. I'm all about giveaways. I write a couple of email templates for you to be able to send to your boss to set up that initial meeting, because he may have in his mind, his or her, their mind, hey, we're going to do this year. She's gung-ho about it. She's ready. She's staffed you as the regional organizer to make this happen. And you have a gut feeling, I don't think this is a good idea. This email will help you to at least set up the meeting so that you can have a real conversation. If you're the person making the decision, these questions that I ask in this initial email will also potentially tell you, is this the best thing for us to do? Okay, number 4 way that I determine whether this is a good idea or not for us to plan an event is engaging with our traditional partners. Okay. So you have partners in community that you can shoot a text to. Hey girl, I'm gonna be planning this event in a few weeks. I really like to be a part of it. I'm not really sure if it's a good idea. Do you mind if we talk for 20 minutes, or can I riff with you back and forth over email, over text? This is what I'm thinking. I feel like it may not be a great idea. I love your feedback. That does 2 things. 1, it gets their feedback. And 2, it gets them engaged in what you're planning long term so that they can sort of be involved in the process. As I mentioned in a lot of videos, partnership is so important to the work that helps you to do your work more seamlessly, for it to be more fun, God forbid, and more engaging. And so in this way, you're getting their feedback and planting a seed that says, hey, this is where our head is at. Should we move forward with this or not? Okay. And number 5, what are you going to do if this event isn't successful? Okay, what I mean by that question is, what will the fallout be if this doesn't work the way you want it to be? So on this channel, you will learn and are learning all that you need to know in order to plan a successful event. I've been planning 10-person board meetings with high-level officials and senior managers for over 15 years, up to 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 person events, walks, concerts, get-togethers, Comic-Cons, all in the name of bringing people together. And I love the work that we do. And some of those events over the years could have been an email. And so my question is always to myself, the 5th and final question is, what will be the fallout if this isn't successful? And so you want to think about that honestly, right? Is that going to reflect poorly on your brand? Is that going to reflect poorly on the board? Is the boss going to be pissed off even though he put you to work and you knew it wasn't going to work and you told him it wasn't going to work, and she still said, yes, you got to do it? It's annoying. But here we are, working for the man. I'm kidding, not really. So what I suggest here is being able to go through each of those questions. Feel free to comment and ask questions below. I will happily get to most, if not all of them, because I want to ensure that you're doing the kind of work that you feel passionate about, that you feel deeply connected to. That's never usually your question mark, though. I think at some point along the road, you've been doing this for 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years, and you are apathetic, you're cynical, you're tired, but you do the work because you see what's needed, what's necessary. And oftentimes our work includes events where we have to bring people together. I love logistics. I love planning. I love all of the minutia, love all the details. I love hiring the right people, and I love creating experiences for people. I love it. It is what I was meant to do. It is my vocation. I love bringing people together. And not everybody's ministry. Am I right? People don't always love that. Even though it becomes 40 to 50% of what nonprofits and social impact companies have the tendency to lean into is doing an event. It becomes the fall guy or lady. And that's unfortunate because that's not always what's necessary. Events should not be the go-to. It is a tool. It sometimes is a strategy, but in the end, it's an event. It's not the be all and the end all. And we tend to use events and social media like it's the second coming, and it isn't. And I want people to know that so that they can make really good decisions about where their resources, their donors' resources, their clients' resources, their own resources, where funders' money is going. So they can be really smart about it, but also where your time is going. You, in part, are burnt out and exhausted and want to flee the public or social entrepreneurship sector and go into the private sector and make lots of money. Not everybody wants to do that. Some of y'all do. And so one of the ways in order to make the space that you're in a little better than how you found it is by making really smart decisions, being bold in how you talk to your boss and yourself, as well as your stakeholders and your board, so that they understand the importance of being really smart, tactical, thoughtful, and intentional about the resources that your company or nonprofit has access to. And so consider those 5 questions, those 5 ideas, comment, ask questions, and then I'll be sure to answer most, if not all of them. Okay, let's bring people together.